So your first year at Wisconsin, you guys won the Rose Bowl.
Right.
Give some feedback on that experience.
Well, I tell you, just starting off at the beginning of the year, me coming in individually, just again not knowing a whole lot, not knowing what to expect, and I just know we went into camp and it was on. And camp was hard. We was doing 3-a-days. They had us in a remote location on the outskirts of Madison, and we were getting 3 days in at the Holy Name Seminary, and
Mm.
me still learning position, and they were really on me. Coach McMahon was the defensive backs coach at times. At that time, when I was at the UW, and he used to be on me a lot. I mean, a lot, and it was tough at first. I mean, even though we practiced hard when I was in high school, this college thing and what Barry Alvarez had going on there was tough because he was really trying to weed out weak links on the team, and he was really trying to build a program in a dynasty. And as you can see, he's still doing it to this day. But I was there at the beginning stages, and we went on a winning streak. We were doing well. Doing a non-conference, then we got into conference, and we were doing well. And remember a game we ran up against Michigan, Tyrone Wheatley, and they had Ty Law and Brady.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually Elvis Grbac was the coach. I mean, was the quarterback before Brady was at Michigan. But UW anyway had not beat them in years, Michigan, and we had them at home, and we beat them, and it was just like pandemonium, hysteria at Camp Randall, and get close to 90,000 people there, and they started stampeding the field, trying to get to the players and stuff like that, and I can just remember kind of being like terrified a little bit, like, man, no telling what's gonna happen. It's a lot of people. When you see that many people around you, and half of them was drunk at Camp Randall, so I was trying to get out of there, and I got to the locker room, and I say 5 minutes after I got in the locker room, coaches came in with like a look on their face like they seen ghosts, and they like, well, everybody got to get back out. Yeah. We like, why? They like, well, people out there smashed, and I'm thinking, I'm not going back out there, from East Chicago. Whenever it's problems, you kind of want to get away from the problem because, out here was pistol, people shooting, or it was, somebody getting whooped real bad, and it's like you want to go the opposite way. But we went out there, and like, it was crazy. People were crushed up under the gates, man. So much the student section, the rails that they had holding up the student section, just the way, if everybody pushing down at an angle like that, broke the rails out the concrete, and it was people walking along a track, and that rail fell on them, and all those people and all that weight was crushing those people. So they needed some football players to try to get out there and get those people from up under that rail. So that was the craziest thing in the world, man. And I remember seeing the girl that was, I just knew she was dead, but nobody died. She was like purple and black and everything. And I can remember a guy named Michael Brand made it to the Oprah show because he was helping saving people that game, whatever. But yeah, and the next game we played Ohio State, and man, who Ohio State didn't have at that time. It seemed like they had everybody that was anybody in college football that year, and we ended up tying them, and we probably should have beat them. We kicked the field goal at the end of the game, and it got blocked, and we was driving. That last drive we was driving, we probably should have went for a touchdown and kept on driving with Brent Moss, but I'm not a coach, and I ain't gonna second guess what Barry was thinking at that time, but the kick ended up getting blocked, and we ended up tying Ohio State, and we only lost one game that year, and we lost to Minnesota Gophers. out of all the teams in the Big Ten that year, we lost to the Minnesota Gophers, and Darrell Bevell was our quarterback, and he was the offensive coordinator up there with the Vikings with Childress, and now he's the offensive coordinator in Seattle. Yeah. With what's the coach that just came? Pete Carroll.
Pete Carroll,
he came from USC, so he was the quarterback then, and he didn't. That wasn't one of his better games, and we ended up losing. But we ended up going to the Rose Bowl that year, and we ended up beating UCLA 21-16, and just that whole experience. But even before that, man, just that first year was probably the best year out of all my years at Wisconsin, because we also played in the Tokyo Bowl. We was in Tokyo, Japan, and we actually beat Michigan State to be able to get into the Rose Bowl. So,
Wow.
you know, you take me coming from East Chicago at that time, here I am, you know, Wisconsin D1, and we go to Japan. We go out to the Rose Bowl. My first year was like, wow, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you really get to see that it's like a bigger world out there than East Chicago. You know, when you go in Japan and you don't understand nothing they saying, they got a whole different way of living. And
Yeah.
you go down to Southern California, you in the Tournament of Rose. I mean, you in the granddaddy of them all. I was just feeling real good. Like, man, it was a dream. Like somebody pinched me, you know, wake me up, because it was a beautiful thing that year. Yes, it was.
Wow.